Alright, hello. Goodwill hunting. We're doing the decode on this now. Why are we doing the decode on this? We were just talking about this song, Thrift Shop, Macklemore. Okay, we did the decode on this. I've done another decode on it in the not so distant past as well, but just recently, if you go back to the last video, you're going to see a decode on this. We were talking about this. Okay, why is this important? Because in this video there's some references to Back to the Future, yeah? There's also the reference to Goodwill charity shop, okay? And Coin Researcher said to me in the comments, said, hey Dan, that reminds me of Goodwill hunting, okay? So that's why we're doing this. I showed you in that last video as well that Goodwill shows up right here. Okay, Goodwill Industries right here. So we just had, so the white van had just turned out on the road here, right here, behind this tree. And that van had the 820, 82 stuff on it for Madonna maybe. And obviously with the Mayor, yeah, and Mary and May, that connection. So it was interesting. It was turned onto the road right here by Goodwill, okay? And also with the, when Marty makes the leap back, of course, the end of the line is somewhere across here. So this is all to do with that leap home, Goodwill, right? And if we just take one of those O's out of there, God's will, okay? God will, okay? God's will. Right. So let me show you something in here. So we were doing that, okay? Where do I want to go here? So anyway, I think I also, when I was talking to back to Coin Researcher, I said, yeah, actually that would be good to go see that, because, and I don't know if he picked up on it as well, in the song they also mention hunting for some whatever bargains or whatever they say. I can't remember what the lyrics are now, but they do mention hunting in it as well. So it seems like somewhere to go and have a look at. Okay, so the first thing to note is Robin Williams in this film. Immediately I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I seem to recall, didn't he die on the 11th of August? And hang on a minute, isn't that Rocco Ritchie's birthday? So if we take a quick look, we're going to see something very interesting. Okay, I mean, we might as well start here. There's a whole bunch of stuff to do. So I went from Rocco Ritchie's birth, yeah, because Rocco Ritchie is the son, and Madonna is the corrupted matrix, yeah, of Madonna, the corrupted Mary matrix, right? The corrupted Virgin Mary. So we want to look at the sun here, and then we come through to the death of Robin Williams. Okay, and it's 14 years on the button. Okay, so okay, that's interesting. Okay, because the clock stops in Back to the Future 10:04. It is actually 14, I believe 14, a reference to the number 14. But anyway, let me show you something. And well, actually, before we do that, let me show you that number there so you can see. This is the pyro here. Don't get too flustered by any of this. Here is our number 14, okay, which is the face of the clock. This is, I believe, what they're, partially what they're referenced to with the number 14. There's so many different references to it, but this is just one of them, I guess. What was I going to say about that? I don't know. You'll notice that Prince Charles's numbers tie into that. You'll notice that, we've been talking about potential World War III, which would tie into this as well with the 14 and 91,000 and 4 days from the start of the US through to 9/1 gives us our sort of, this may be the end date type thing going on here. Anyway, I don't want to get too bogged down with that. And what's special about that 9/1 as well is that it happens to be a palindromic pi number from World War II, the start of World War II through to this 9/1 date. If you've not seen my previous decodes, okay, that's not making any sense to you. But let's crack on back on with this other stuff. Okay, so this is interesting, right? So 14 years, right? Let's just click this a minute and have a quick goosey gander. Now, 684 prime doesn't look particularly interesting until you click it again, and then what we're going to see is that prime number. Come on, baby. We see the 684th composite number is now 830. This is the date we're looking at. Well, the date what I'm looking at right now for Madonna to pop on. Okay. Now, let me show you something else that now becomes very, very fascinating with this number jump. Connecting back to Robin Williams and Rocco, right? Let me show you something just quickly, and then we'll backtrack back onto this number. This is Robin Williams' birthday through to this 9/1 date that I just briefly mentioned there, and you'll notice it's 27072. Okay, it's 27 number, right? Now we've had a ton of 2724 numbers, okay, and all I'm going to say about 27 is it's highly connected to Lucas numbers. Okay, let's just leave it at that, just connected to Lucas numbers. But what is important about this is that Lucas numbers is also our, that birth and death date of 118. The 8th of August is also connected heavily in with Lucas numbers. Okay, let's just whip back to it real quick. Yeah, this is the middle of our table right here. Get rid of this crud off of here. Right, this is the middle of our table. Yeah, and we can amalgamate these two numbers. One's representing the metaphysical, one's the physical. The feminine and the masculine. Okay, this is, you can amalgamate these in basically two different ways. We can amalgamate them into the 29, or we can also amalgamate them by taking the one here and the one that's right here, and just merging those two into a single one. So now these two are joined, and you still have a 1 over here, and you still have the 8 here. Okay, so 118 is a combo number of these two. Okay, just imagine if you kind of went cross-eyed and looked at them, and that middle two ones joined together sort of thing, overlapped. Alright, anyway, too much waffle down. Let me show you something. Let's go back to this. So the 2772 is super duper also important with Rocco Ritchie, because if we just do the gematria, you'll see his reductions. We got a double 27 and a double 72 for Rocco Ritchie and Rocco by itself. So that is marginally interesting. But what's even more interesting than that is who else is in this film. Ben Affleck. Okay, he is in the film, and I thought, you know what, this was one of the last ones that I did, one of the last number jumps that I did before I said I've had enough. So an interesting birthday to be just one day off of Madonna. Okay, and we had the Assumption of Mary this year on that date. So I did his number jump through to Madonna's. Okay, so his birthday through to Madonna's, and lo and behold, look, our 5113, except we're a day short of 14 years here, but our 5113 number is matching up with this number jump with Robin Williams and Rocco. So this, what are the chances that, and of course Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, of course, how many films have they been in together? Like this twinism thing going on with them, and I'm thinking, blimey now, this is all tying together a little bit too nicely here already, you know. Well, this is towards the end of the thing. So anyway, let's go through some of the other number jumps. So what are the chances though that you know, Versica Pisces numbers as well, that number there, 5113, matches up with Robin Williams' death date and Rocco's birthday, Ben Affleck's birthday, Madonna's birthday. Absolutely mental already. Okay, so who else is in the film? I guess I should have gone through some of these people, but we want to do some. We've got some more number jumps in here to do, I'm sure. Hang on. So we've done that. We've got stuff down here. We'll do that at the end. Hang on. So let's go through. This is the release of the film. So let me show you something here. The release of the film, 9/1. Again, what date are we talking about? Referencing the end of the world. the end of the world. Okay. World War III maybe. So this date that's going to be coming up shortly, just shortly after this 8:30 with Madonna, and of course the importance of Madonna and then the connection to Diana, and the following day after Diana's death is this 9/1. So of course this isn't September the 1st, but this is January the 9th. Okay, so it's just a reversal of that idea, or just the same numerology. But anyway, I've got it coming out to 9/2. This is the white wedding date, so we're basically looking at something, again, the point is we're looking at something happening in the midnight hour between the 1st of September through to the 2nd of September. That's my theory anyway right now that I'm sticking to. That would be the most likely, I think, to see something happen. Potentially the Hoover Dam falling down in that point, because we're talking about Labor Day, giving birth. Okay, and once we've been birthed out of the Matrix, what does that represent? That represents a new start. That represents the white wedding. Okay, coming back to the divine goddess and starting over again. Okay, look at this number. Yeah, 10,099, but this is 199 numerology. Right now, I tell you right now, 199 numerology, what are we talking about trying to get back to? Yeah, the number 11. We're trying to resurrect that number 11 that dropped into the abyss on 9/11. Yeah, it went down into ground zero. It went into the metaphysical, that number 11. Okay, so that's what we're trying to resurrect. You know, it's a Lucas number. It's the 11th Lucas number. Super duper important. Yeah, that's why the Queen had her funeral on that day. Right. Anyway, so this is interesting. Again with the 27s. Yeah, the 27 years. But let's just have a look. 1240 again. Read that backwards. 421. Okay, we can also pick out like Christmas Eve with that as well. 15th square pyramidal. What does that mean? I'm not really quite sure, but it's interesting that it's a slightly more important prime number than the normal. I think we'll leave it there for that, because we can start going through all these composites and everything else. I don't really want to keep messing around with too much of that. It's interesting, but it just, you know. Right. So that was the film itself, you know. And again, let me just show you one other thing. Look, if we unclick that, we're getting like this date is kind of, see this, 198 in here and 1998, and then the 19 and the click on and one. You know what I mean? We're kind of getting the whole beginning of that. The film release date is kind of part of the number jump, if you like, or reflects back into the number jump now. So it's kind of interesting. Anyway, what we got here? This is Minnie Driver. Okay, so she's the love interest of Matt Damon in the film. Kind of interesting. If we unclick with the 203, there's a lot of things we can say about the 203. Straight up and down on the dartboard is 203, 20 at the top, 3 at the bottom. Again, that ties back in with 611 on the dartboard, and it also ties back in with the 11th of June. But recently we were looking at Magic Johnson with the number 32 on his shirt. Quite interesting with that stuff. And of course, if we click on, a couple more days, we get that palindromic number. So this is super duper kind of important here. See, there's on the 1st. If I just back again, we can include that end date. 231 numerology as well. What we got? The 201st triangular. Kind of interest. Oh, got the 18007, the 187 there. The murder, death, kill number. Let's just leave that. It's just interesting, isn't it? What else do we got here? I think, what was this? Minnie Driver. No, she's got the 131 as well. The 131 train stuff going on. Through to, so I thought I'd better do through to Rocco's birthday. 11151. Okay. I feel like, I'm not sure if it was this number. Yeah, maybe it was something completely different. I can't remember now. I've got so many number jumps floating around in my head. I'm going absolutely balmy. Click that and see what it is. Oh, that was interesting. Yeah, 9800 composite. The 98. Yeah. Queen Def numbers there with the 98. Okay. So that was interesting, especially with the 51. Now, don't forget that May Day is our twin date for the 1st of September. Okay, so this is why that's important in certain films. Okay, I'm thinking of View to a Kill with May Day in it, and also May Day. Grace Jones is also she's the 19th of May on her birthday. So don't forget, the 19th of May gives us our 91005 days from the start, inclusive to the end of the United States. So depending whether you add in that, you're going to get 91004 or 91005. Okay, what else we got here? This is did we do this one already? Don't think so. Matt Damon through to Rocco's, and check it out. Okay, right here. So again, with the release date of the film, and then also we've got this reference back to the 1st of September coming up. Okay, super duper important. And just look at the years: 29 years, 309 days. Yeah, 29, the White Wedding again, and then the 309 is the Hoover Dams birthday. Okay, the 30th of September. So you just see these little numbers popping back up. Just crazy. Alright, what else we got? Have I done all that lot? So I think we've done all those numbers now. Done a bit of variation on them. Let me show you something now. So when we were dealing with this, with the Goodwill and everything, right, there was also another reference that we had in thrift shop. Actually, in fact, it was a reference to this. Okay, I think it was like a tea towel or something that was just hung up by JFK in the. I guess we could go to it if I could find it very quickly. I don't know if I could find it that quickly though. I want to say it was just right here. As you can see, we've got the pyramid here, the all-seeing eye stuff. This was all tying in with Madonna before, okay? As I said, with Desperately Seeking Susan and the pinball machine and the rest of it. But anyway, when we got to here, okay, we would, I believe in one of the other decodes we just did, we were talking about this connection with, let's see, hang on, come on, with the third eye right here, okay, and something else that Coin Researcher mentioned as well. He said, hey, check out next door as Lou's, okay, because we were doing this connection with this store to a record shop back in 1955, okay, and obviously in the record shop there was a Edie, I can't remember her surname, but one of the artists in the record shop had the 8/16 birthday, the same as Madonna, okay, and so anyway, Coin Researcher said, hey, we got Lou's there, and Madonna's middle name is Louise, okay, so this connection back with Madonna again right here. Well, if you've watched the channel for a while, you know that I've referred to this character here that is getting this donation. Again, the donation, just like Goodwill is getting donations, okay, so she's getting the donation to save the clock tower. I've mentioned before, hey, Mrs. Doubtfire, yeah, and who was Mrs. Doubtfire? Robin Williams. Okay, so this, it's just weird the way the stuff works. I don't know. So this connection maybe with Mrs. Doubtfire here. I don't know if I got a picture of Mrs. Doubtfire. No, I don't, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so let me show you something now, right? And then we'll tie back to this again. Okay, so this is Mini Driver again through to Matt Damon. 250 days between their birthdays. Super interesting, yeah. Or you could do 251 if you really wanted to. Okay, but 250 days, right? Now let me show you something else. Matt Damon through to 8/30. This potential date with Madonna. Yeah, 20,050 days. 25 again. So what, this 25 numerology showing up. 25 numerology. Now what is Marty gonna put in the donation? 25 cents. 25. When did Madonna do her Super Bowl? On 2/5. Okay, so the 2/5 shows up, you know, with Madonna here and there as well. Not to mention that the 2/5 is the, as I go on about it every single blooming time I do a video or whatever, if you do calculator, okay, can you see what this creates? Yeah, this is an upside down cup, yeah, right? So if you can make that out, that's the base of the cup, this is the stem, and then this is the part that holds the liquid here, upside down, right? Just interesting, okay, that kind of symbolism of the 25, the face to face thing, yeah. What else? So that was that. So I thought that was interesting with the 25. This was Robin Williams through to Madonna. Did we do this? Note the 7/27 showing up again, just like we had the 27, you know, the other bloody 27 stuff showing up with him. This stuff through to 9/1, 27/72, which matched up with Rocco Ritchie's Gematria. Let's have a look at this as well. Okay, 25/84. Let's look. It's the 18th Fibonacci. Note the composite number here as well, 2207. Just with the length of funeral rites, that Madonna thing that tied in with Ozzy as well, and obviously the number 18 obviously ties in with Ozzy, ties in with this date. No, I don't know what else to say. But this number 18 is the 18th Fibonacci. So not only did we just see the 11th Lucas number, but now we've just had the 18th. Well, I don't go up to 18 here, but we've just had the 18th Fibonacci, which is over here somewhere. Okay, so we've had both 11 and 18 referenced in the cycle, and not only that, but did you see the other numbers that popped up in the cycle? So we're getting all these numbers right here at the center of this thing being referenced, okay, in this thing, okay. Boy, what else? Hang on, let's go back to this a minute. Oh, I do want to, well, no, let's not worry about that. So there we go with that. What was this last one? This is the release of the film through to Rocco Richie's birthday. Did we not already do this one? I can't remember. Anyway, 9446 946. Yeah. Are we going to change the 9 for 6 now? The resurrection from the 9. Oh, gosh, I don't know what we're doing. Come on. The 43rd triangular. This on the surface doesn't look that impressive, but when you think about what 43 is, it's the 14th prime. Huh? Robin Williams dying on Rocco's 14th birthday, the 14th prime number. Why is this interesting? Look, 43rd prime, okay, is 191. Composite number 62. Super duper interesting, is it not? Okay, I think that's everything. Yeah, I think we've made all the connections there. What is super interesting is about how this ties back to Back to the Future. You know, I know that's very loose, but when you watch the rest of this or watch Mother Decode, you can see why that ties in. You know, this whole thing with the whole thing with the DeLorean at the start of this. You know, I mean, it is just really quite loaded, to be quite honest. The Goodwill hunting. We got another one to do after this. I think I'm going to try and do it tomorrow. Oh, I can't do it tonight. It's just too late now. I've got to get up early in the morning. I'll try and do it tomorrow at some point, maybe tomorrow night. I've got another really interesting bunch of connections that's kind of tying in with this thrift shop theme. So anyway, just one last thing. So before we get off of this, Goodwill, I couldn't actually find the exact founding date, but 1902. We got the 1, 9, and the 2, the 02. So we've got through from, and notice the guy's name, Edgar J. Not quite J. Edgar Hoover, but Helms. Okay. But yeah, we got the 1902. So the 192 numerology of, the end and the beginning. Yeah, and the white wedding. Oh dear. Okay, I'm leaving it there. Hopefully that was something that was interesting there for you. But that quarter reference I thought was particularly interesting as well, with the fact that Marty is putting in the 25 cents donation to save the clock tower, which has got the number 14 on it again, remember, and Mrs. Doubtfire here taking the donation. Robin Williams. Boy, oh boy. It's amazing how this stuff fits together. Alright, thanks for watching. Good night. God bless. Okay.